that led to your bad night of sleep, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it was something you ate, all this, but it couldn't be none of those things.
Wow.
It must mean I'm out of his will. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything goes back to, with believers, I'm out of his will.
Wow.
And it's like everything.
Wow.
Like, I can only, let me stop. I was about to use my imagination on something, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
I almost want to hear
it. Like, man, I'll never forget when God gave me this revelation, right? I call it revelation. That's kind of strong, but anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was hers. I didn't hear it first anywhere else, so I'm gonna say it was revelation.
Boom.
But he said, Brian, never forget that while you're praying for a miracle, you are my miracle. Like, and that changed my whole frame of thinking when I'm sitting here asking God for a miracle and praying for these things to change, while not realizing, like, I am his miracle. Like, I am who he sent his son for. And I'm saying this to say, like, man, you're trying to find yourself in his will when you gave your life to God. You are his will.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like,
you're already there.
That was the point.
Right.
Like, and God started talking to me about just like the different levels. He's like, Brian, there's just different levels, and sometimes we're trying to win the grand prize, and we're always looking at the grand prize and forgetting that, man, like, how many things you've progressed through en route, and so he started walking me through them. Y'all heard me say these things before. I'll say it again. How much time we got? But it's like, step number 1, you got saved. First of all, that is
a miracle.
The miracle.
Right.
You are saved. You know how pleased God is and how sealed eternity. Like, bro, it's gravy from here.
That's good.
It is all good. Like, this, like, the whole point of this epic battle in between good and evil, God gets to check another mark, like, devil, I won.
Yeah.
Like, we always talk about the story of Job as if Job isn't being lived out in all of our lives today. Like, or as if we all aren't facing or seeing circumstances that could cause us to question whether or not we're going to stick with God, but we've chosen to stay.
Right.
Right. And in the midst of all of this world, of the confusion, the lies, we still chose faith, even without sight, of the Savior. We chose faith. I'm just saying, like, that's what you said at salvation. Like, so the epic war, the epic battle over the souls, the eternity of people's souls, like, God got another one. You know what I'm saying? Now, step 2. As a result of that decision and the great sacrifice that was made, you're finding it in your heart to want to live a life that's pleasing towards him. That's step 2. Like, but you were loved at step 1.
Right.
You were accepted at step 1. He gave his son for step 1. Step 2, that's beautiful that now, as a result of the love I first showed you, you want to present your body as a living sacrifice? Bro, there's not a lot of people that get the number 2.
That's good.
But there's a lot of people that are like, man, God, I just want my life to be pleasing to you. Like, I just want to live in a way that honors you for what you've done for me. That's actually step number 2, and he loves that.
Right.
You know what step number 3 is?
What's step number 3?
Use my life.
Right.
Like, so I have step 1, I want to live in a way that's pleasing to you. Step 3, I want to use my life in order to spread your gospel.
Right.
Like, take me, God. That's step 3. Like, that's, so many people are already, like, well, if I had to put this in ranks, like, you already got your diploma.
Right.
You're working on your master's. Then what? Then next is the doctorate, right? Man, then the doctorate, right? Like the doctorate. Step number 4, is like now you're trying to assemble people to be just like you.
Got it.
Like, that's number 4. Like, God's like, wait a minute. You already gave your life.
Right.
Man, we won that battle. Number 2, you are so thankful for the sacrifice that you want to live in a way that's pleasing to me. Third, you're willing to submit your whole life to my way. Then number 4, you're wanting to create others, disciple others in this same path. Like, bro, you're killing it.
That's good. So a lot of people they don't see themselves in that progression. You did step 1, you faced some challenge or whatever you define it as, and you're still looking back past step 1 as if you haven't made these progressions. Is that?
Yes. And I'm saying the part that starts to creep in is the church a lot of times, and I use that, and that's very big, broad terms. When we're preaching, we only communicate step number 4 as acceptable by God. Like, it's not said directly, but if you're listening, you can almost hear that unless I'm at number 4, then I'm living less than for God.
That's good.
You know, unless I've figured out how to take my creative talents and gifts and use them to disciple others, then I'm nothing.
That's good.
And it's like, so wait a minute.
Too often we communicate as if God isn't pleased until you get to step 4. And the truth is, God was pleased at step 1. That's good. That's good.
Oh, well done was that 1.
Wow. Yep.
Man. But we communicate as though, man, like, you are not living up to standard. You're not doing these things, not realizing that in order to get to number 4, you have to have already decided to live a life.
Yeah.
And you have already had to have submitted your life. Like, you had to get through these stages to even do number 4. Because, man, like, I don't, like, if you read the book, like, the life, I mean, we talked about this last time, too, is many people see the life of 1% of, like, pastors and consider that's the life of the other 99.
Right.
And so, like, you do realize that number 9, like, get number 4 is a life of sacrifice. Like to be a disciple maker, man, there's so much of your flesh that has to be crucified on a daily basis, your will that is to be crucified on a daily basis. That's why it takes the progression. Like, being a minister of the gospel isn't look for a word like this.
I got a word in my head, but I don't know if it's the word that's in your. I was thinking, like, that's not the elementary thing.
It's not the elementary thing, but it's also, that's a word too. But I was thinking of the word, like, people act like, man, it's crazy. Like, you know, shoot, I don't want to get in trouble, but I will. So you go to, you know, like, ordination services, and there's, like, this whole show, and, like, you see it as, like, this achievement, and you see it as, like, this big thing. But when Jesus was ordaining his disciples, he took them to wash people's feet and was like, yo, this is your ordination service. I'm going to show you how to wash their feet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to show you how to serve even the lowest, you know, because that's the life you're subscribed to.
Yeah.
You know, that you have just committed yourselves to saying the ones that are cast out, ones that no one sees has value. You've committed yourself in your life to showing them that they are loved and they are cared for. Like that's what you've committed your life to.
Yeah.
But we look at the 1%ers and think that, you know, that's it. No. Go talk to the other 99. And you'll find out that, man, being a disciple maker is sitting next to someone who's high as a Georgia pine.
That's good.
And not judging them. You know what I'm saying? It's taking 4-minute breaks so you don't get high. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got to step out the room for a second so I don't get high.
Get some fresh air.
You know what I'm saying? Get some fresh air so I don't get high. You know, it's shooting, it's warning your friends in the room that, hey, I invited somebody tonight. Everybody be on your best behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's It's calling your wife up and be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to swing by their house.
Yep.
Listen, I'll still make it by dinner, but they going through something. You know what I'm saying? It's those things. It's sitting in a hospital room when people are like, man, I don't know what to do. My father just passed away. Will you pray for me? Well, man, I'm a little hurt myself, but bump my hurt. You know, I'm here for you. It's conversations. It's dinners and breakfasts and lunch, and man, it's just pray like
going.
That's what it is, man. But everybody is like, no, man, you got to have this platform and all this other type of stuff. And it's like, yo, boss, being a disciple maker is giving your platform away. Mm-hmm. It's building a stage and saying, hey, all of you guys that didn't have one, we got one. Come stand on it. You know, it's bigger than any one event. It's a commitment to do it again. Yeah. You know, I was talking to somebody. They were launching a ministry last week, and they're like, man, Pastor, you have any words of encouragement for me? I said, yeah. I said, you know what ministry is? They were like, what? Realizing that you ain't got to get it right the first time. And the only way you really ever get it right is when you finally commit that you'll do it again, regardless of how it last went. Like, that's ministry. Ministry is saying, I'm going to do it again. I don't care how it last went. Like, you know, that's what ministry is. Because there's people, there's lives. Man, I'm getting fired up. But that's level 4. Yeah. Because, man, it's you know, man, you telling me last night, man, no, I'm not talking about it.
Sounds like it's,
anyway.
Too often we treat ordination like it's the place of arrival when actually it's an initiation to start. Bro, like, this is the jump off right here.
Don't nobody wear them clothes again.
Right. Right.
Let me catch you in the street one of them outfits. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, boss.
Right.
Only the Pope get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a great party. And I'm glad, you know what I'm saying, do your thing.
Yeah.
But no one wears that on Sunday. Like, well, and if they do, that's strange, right? But normally, that's the last time you see them wear it.
Right.
You know, and I'm just saying, man, like, and please understand what I'm saying. Like, it's awesome, it's beautiful, but that's that 1% of a moment. Man, ministry is figuring it out time and time again. Man, it's faithfulness to people who have nothing to offer you. You know, it's that's what it's like.
We find a grace. There's definitely a grace for it. You find a grace for it.
Oh, His grace must be sufficient.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
You know what ministry is? Having a thorn, praying for it to be removed, and God saying, "No, you're good. It's I made a way."
Yeah.
Like, yo, but help me out, boss. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I did. You know, by allowing it to stay. So you can understand that all of that great revelation that you have is still not enough to remove you from the everyday journey of life, Paul. Like he had to give me, Paul's words were, he had to give me something.
That's good.
So that I didn't get caught up in the very revelation that I carry. Like that's what Paul said. And so then it's like, yo, great revelation. There's a humble stick somewhere.
I gotta go make this tent.
There's a humble stick somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's keeping you on the ground.
That's good.
You know, and so it's that, man, and right. And I love where we ended. Once again, it became twofold, you know, and understanding that we have, man, and that's radical, man. I'm so proud of how our church responded in that moment. That's why it was the last point, because I was like, okay, how's this gonna go, God? But it's like, you know, but he did. He was like, Brian, there's so many people looking for a sign. Whoever said you needed a sign? Like, you know, and oftentimes we can find ourselves in those spots where we're like, God, just do something. Do something to let me know that this is the path. We've all said that.
Right.
You know, I may say it 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I know the truth.
Right.
Like, I just do something.
Yeah.
Like, do something.
Yep.
To let me know that putting all of my energy and efforts into this thing isn't a waste of time. Do something to let me know that this is anything. I'm not even. Some people talk about they want something to move. I'm not even talking about stuff that big. Man, I take.
A wink, a pat, something.
Bro, I'll take,
right.
and y'all hear some of this stuff, man. I'll take Pastor Gavin dropping off a biscuit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? The Lord knew I was hungry. That that was it. You know what I'm saying? You got me for another lap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even talking about earth moving stuff. You know, I'm just saying, like, you know, man, let the clouds form in a cross. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and sure enough, nothing happens. And he reminds me, like, bro, you are my miracle. You are the greatest sign of who I am and what I promised to do.
That's good.
Because if you really sit down and think about where you would be if it had not been for me, like, bro, like, it's in you. And no external thing could ever prove my faithfulness to you. Like, the greatest thing I could do, I already did.
Right.
I sent my son. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know what else to do.
How does this hit you? And I gave you faith. I gave you faith.
You know, and I think that's the part to where, man, I'm so glad that that's been, and maybe it's time to to stir it back up again. Is the understanding that faith is a gift, and not everybody has the capacity to believe, and but God gave us the capacity to believe. Like, you can't even take credit for your belief in Christ. God gave you the capacity to believe. And like that, when you took that back, well, a lot of people don't realize when they took that, they don't realize how much of a ripple effect that is for the rest of their journey with Christ.
Exactly. Is
when you took responsibility that it was your faith or it was you or any of those things. That when the road got a little whatever, and it was time for you to realize that, man, you called me out of darkness,
right?
Like that you gave me this, like you won't have the foundation, you won't have that solid rock, you won't have that cornerstone. So the winds and the waves came, but because you took responsibility of the cornerstone, then you crumbled, and it's like, man, because man,
that is the energy, because I just see, like, that is the decision to keep on going when you are tired. That comes from faith, the deposit of faith that was there. When you don't see anything, but you keep on going.
Yeah, and I think we sometimes forget how that God's the Alpha and Omega. And what do I mean by that? Is that He understands the end from the beginning. And so all the while He's administering to you the relationship necessary for you to get to that door.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that for myself, and every believer at some point has to realize for themselves that God's not going to build you in a way that won't get you to the end that He has for you. And if God were to start to build my relationship with Him based on the signs that I see externally, I wouldn't have the strength to make it for where He's taking me. Because God already knows there's going to be seasons where I'm not going to see nothing. So why would He even entertain that now?
That's right.
Like, why would I let you be fed in a way that's not going to live with you for where I'm taking you? Like, we might as well start this journey right from the get-go. Like we might as well make sure you have enough fuel to get to the end of this race. So I'm not like, God is in another way. I'm almost put it like,
that's good.
Like. So Amber asked me this question. You know, there's wisdom that just comes like out of the mouth, and you're like, you know what? I don't even know why, but and I know I've been kind of working with her, and I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. Like, I don't know why, but now that you bring it up, it probably shouldn't have even happened that way. So I've been working on teaching Amber how to ride a bicycle without training wheels. You know what she asked me the other day? Why did I put them on there to begin with?
It's a great question. It's good.
I said, because so you could ride without falling. She says, well, like, I'm falling now. Like, I'm having to relearn where I could have just learned from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you let me do something in a way that wasn't real. Knowing that the training wheels were only for a season, but you let me get so comfortable with these training wheels that now I'm having to learn this whole thing over again. I could have just started off without them.
Yeah.
And I looked at her. As a baby girl, you preach.
You said something.
And a lot of times we want God to put training wheels on us when we know the great calling he put inside of us.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's like, why would I let you operate in a way that is only going to handicap you for where we're going?
That's good.
And he's so beautiful. He's the Alpha and the Omega. So he knows where you're going. And so a lot of times we're asking him to put training wheels on us. And he's like, I'm not going to put training wheels on you, because you're going to start going, moving, and you're going to think that you know what you're doing. And then the training wheels are going to come off, and you're going to feel such a crippling. We could have just avoided all of this from the beginning. And you developed the relationship you needed to endure the whole race.
Yeah.
And I said, girl, daddy messed up. Because now, not only that, it was expensive too, because now I had to buy a different bike. Like could have just bought one bike. When you're ready, you can get on it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, she's out there fighting now.
That's good.
And she's asked me, why did I ever have them?
That brings so much clarity.
Because I wanted you, and this is what I'm saying, I wanted to see you exist in the place you weren't qualified to be. And a lot of times we're asking God to put us in places we're unqualified to be. And we're like, just give us the training wheels, God. And he's like, I'm not giving you no training wheels. But some of us have enough money to buy our own training wheels.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about that. That's a whole group of people. God didn't tell you to do that. Like, you bought training wheels. And sooner or later, them training wheels, they're going to have to come off.
See where you at, for real.
There's nothing like a grown man riding a bike with training wheels on it.
Hey, man. That's good. Thank you. Wow.
I know I saw that in my whole head. I seen a grown man riding down the street with training wheels, bro.
Right.
I don't know who did you wrong, but you got to get off that. I'm thinking he ain't listening now because he on vacation on a cruise, so I'm talking about him. But my brother-in-law Ricky Jones Jr. don't know how to swim, and it's so sad because his kids,
they do.
And this man can't even. He look at me every time. Every time we go to the pool, he's like, "Listen, man, if they start drowning, you can help me out."
If Daddy start drowning,
say,
y'all
man,
can help Daddy out.
I said, man, I don't know who let you wear them floaties that long, but boss, you should. Now as a grown man, he look crazy jumping in the pool with floaties.
Wow. Hey, man. Sheesh. Hey, thank you for joining us today for the Deeper Dive. We love you. As you go through this day, enjoy it all. Know that God has built you. You built for where you are and where you're going. Know that we love you. God loves you. Keep attending and keep being most blessed. We'll see you soon. Trying to define who I really was within. Feeling so low.
rescue me. I can feel the life coming in my feet. I got a new dance, you became